Hello, everyone. Mike Nashif here with Infinity Solutions and the Infinity Project. And today I'm going to talk about the new table of elements and how light is placed into this new table of elements. Sorry for the interruption there. I'm not sure if there's an echo or not. I don't hear one particularly. I don't have any participants in the class today because I didn't advertise it, and that's all right. But I wanted to talk more of the elements that we're working with and how you can classify them and help separate them on paper. And if you require numbers, it'll give you the numbers, all of that good stuff. So with that being said, we're going to go ahead and move on. Okay. Currently, the table of elements that we've got looks like this one. Okay. And I don't know if we can zoom in enough to identify all of them, but you can see it. All right. Matter here, all of this is all a positive polarity. Okay. Every bit of it. So you've got to remember that every piece of the elements that you use here on our planet, it's all matter. Okay. You've seen it. Okay. And it's all positive polarity. You can touch it. It's, it has physical attributes. This is matter. Okay. And we don't have to worry about it because we already know what it is. Okay. We've got just about every element figured out. All of that. Okay. None of this is going to be much news for anybody here. Okay. But on a polarity scale, all of the matter is classified as a positive polarity. Okay. And that's how I'm going to break down these different tables of elements into polarities for you guys. Okay. So if this matter, this one is positive, right? Okay. Now, we've got to shrink this down, clear the board. Okay. And we live in a universe of opposites. Okay. Come on. So whatever exists in matter form, okay, must exist in dark matter form, or also known as antimatter or nanomaterials, things like that. Okay. Anything that has the negative polarity of matter. Okay. That's what we're working with here. So you can scratch out the word anti. All right. And then replace it with the word dark. Because the energies that we're working with here, we can't see. It's not visible to our eyes. Okay. And that's the definition of dark matter. This bullshit that they want to feed us in the science papers and reviews and all these videos and everything like that. If dark matter and antimatter collide, there'll be complete annihilation or whatever crap that they're saying. Okay, you don't believe it. It's you convert your food that you eat into dark matter in your stomach. Okay, when you create a caustic solution using the sodium hydroxide or potassium hydroxide, you're creating dark matter. Okay, the same dark matter that's in your stomach. Okay, if you've ever burnt toast or picked up a piece of charcoal or got ash on your hands, you have touched dark matter. All right. So there's no reason to be afraid of this version and the wording of dark when it comes to it. What we're referring to here is the negative polarity. Okay. And it's everything that matter is. Okay. None of this changes. Okay. The elements still remain the same. Okay. But their polarity changes. And when their polarity changes, that means it does the opposite. Okay. And when I'm referring to anything in my work about polarity, it's the direction at which the energy is spinning. Okay. Because it's that direction that the energy is spinning that we're going to harness and capture and use so that it's advantageous to us. All right. And so dark matter has a negative polarity. Okay. And all that means is that for every one of the elements that's up there, every number, okay, and we'll say hydrogen, for instance, okay, every number that's up here in this little diagram, okay, represents something on this little chart, okay. And so all you have to do is put a negative integer in front of it, okay. So the atomic number of hydrogen is 1. The atomic number of dark matter for hydrogen is -1. Okay. And so the atomic mass would also be the same digits, but it would be a negative integer. All right. That's all we're doing here. Because in order to have balance and in order to have physical creation, you have to have the balance. So whatever is created in matter is created in the dark matter version as well to keep the balance in our universe. Okay. So like I'm saying, all of these elements here all have a negative integer in front of any digit that they might have. Okay. And that just identifies their polarity in which direction that they're turning. Okay. For the negatives, okay, we're always turning clockwise. Okay. Always turning clockwise. And I always represent it as red. Okay. So if you ever see a drawing of mine, okay, and I have red lines in there, that means that there is a negative energy field that is being portrayed there, and it is traveling, the energy is traveling in a clockwise manner. Okay. And that's how we identify matter and dark matter. Now, we move into the positioning. And if you notice, if I keep the scale here, all right, at a linear chart, okay, like we're used to, this is the way it would be positioned according to its flow of energy, okay? And things start to look familiar when you see them being pointed out in an obvious manner, okay? And for this obvious manner, okay, you are being shown that this energy that we call and are created looks like a swastika. Okay. I could have done a little better with this, but it got rid of it for me. Okay. So, no. Where did it? I went to pin. Okay. Oh, come on. Okay. So you see that this is where the symbolism comes from. Okay. If you know what this true symbolism means, okay, you will know that it takes the dark matter, okay, and the matter, and dark light, okay, and light, all to create the world, the earth, and everything that's on it has to come together. It is then expressed out from the center, okay, and by doing so creates our planet. Okay, and you have to remember that there's not just these four, okay, there's two more. There's one because we're looking at the top, okay, you've got another one that's right here on top that is pointing directly at your face, okay, and you have to have the opposite, so there's another one on the opposite side of that, okay, and it too is projecting this energy fields out, right? Well, all of the elements that we have here, okay, they all are part of our planet, all the ones that we've discovered, okay? So you have to think of these, that each one of these elements is a layered bubble, okay, in this matrix. The first one is hydrogen. The center circle is a neutrino. All right, first one is hydrogen, then you've got helium, and then you've got lithium, right? And so all of these different layers of energy, all the way out to 111 that we know of, okay? They all form and are forced inside of this little sphere that we call Earth. Okay? This is what makes our planet visible to us. Okay? This is what makes it exist. And so what we're doing here is we're exposing and showing you that the only thing that you've ever been told to be concerned about is matter. Okay? That's the only thing. And you've been told to be afraid of dark matter, right? antimatter, nanomaterials, those kinds of things. And you've been told that dark light or anything that refers to dark, okay, is evil, or you're going to be possessed, or whatever. Okay. Well, we're moving into our evolution, and yes, you are going to be possessed, quote unquote. Okay. But it's your higher self that you're being possessed with. Okay. You're not really being possessed. You're just reconnecting with source energy. Okay. You just have to learn to trust your brain. All right. And we've also been learning and been taught that light, okay, by itself is just something that we can only see, that you can't touch it. Okay. That you can only point it in one direction, and it goes that one direction until it's bounced off of a mirror or some sort of reflective surface. Okay. I'm here to show you and teach you that with light energy, okay, using copper wire, we can now take this copper wire and bend it in any shape we want. And we apply the nano coating or the dark matter to that copper wire and let it grow like a skin, okay? It traps the light energy in the shape that you bent that copper wire. So now you've taken a laser beam and folded it in the shape of a pretzel. What are you going to do with that kind of power and that kind of energy? Okay. And so what I'm showing you guys today are these different layers of energy that we're dealing with. Okay. Right now, currently, most of us are stuck here in this matter realm. Okay. You cannot comprehend that there are 3 other versions of that same element, and each one does something different. Okay. The dark light, okay, that's here is what's being referred to as neutrinos. Okay. And gans. Okay. And when they're trapped in, excuse me, when they're trapped in the salt water, okay, they have a negative polarity, these neutrinos and this gans. Okay. And when they're in salt water, we'll write this down, they have a negative polarity. Okay. In fresh water, they have a positive polarity. Okay. So dark light can have a positive or a negative polarity, but the initial capture of the dark light or the neutrinos, okay, is done in a negative polarity environment, a saltwater environment. Okay. So that's why it's classified as a negative polarity. You can change the conditions of the neutrino, therefore changing the outcome or the effect of it. All right. And then once you capture these neutrinos and you learn how to utilize and tap into their energy and their ability to become superconductors, okay, room temperature superconductors, then you learn how to manipulate the energy, all right, to form light, to create light. And I teach how to build the structure of light. All right. Clear this off. This is the linear version, okay? That would be the same way, you know, if we were to take the current table of elements that we have and divide it into 4 sections, which would be required, okay? And in the very center of this is 0-point energy, okay? That's what we're working with here. The very center of this is 0-point energy, all right? And then This is the linear. This would be the circular version, okay, or the spiral version, all right? And you'll be able to see here in the center what I see sometimes as the infinity, or the yin and yang, okay? And this is your 0 point energy. This is the convergence, all right? This is how all of the energy works in our planet right now. They're all spinning in these, 4 reactors, okay, we'll say. Actually, it's 6 reactors, okay? You have 1, 2, 3, 4, and then the top, and then the bottom, okay, to stabilize it, okay? That's the neutral plasma. And if you had, let's say, a reactor that you had all of the elements of the world combined and put it in one reactor here on the right, okay? And then you filled up and you did it over here, but you had to change the polarity, okay? So you have 2 positive polarities and 2 negative polarities, and they're grinding together and they're creating this energy right here, okay? What we know as the Vesica Pisces, okay? And you have to imagine that these little wheels of energy that make up all of matter and all of creation, okay, but especially our planet, you have to remember that they're traveling. If this one is, if the one on the right here is traveling and it's positive, that means its energy is traveling this way, okay? So this one is traveling this way as well. And then this one is traveling in a clockwise manner, and so is this one, okay? Because they're negative polarities, right? Well, let's follow through with this and see where this one goes, right? So we're going to make one here, right? We're just continuing the flow here. We're not doing anything special, okay? And you're going to see the field interactions, all right? Now we're going to do the top one, and it's got to come down this way, right? And it's going to be continued. So it's moving in this direction, right? Well, the one on the right, that one's moving in a counterclockwise motion. So we got to see which direction, right, that it's going. And we just continue doing that until all sides are filled up. And now you can see your energy flow. All right. And what's happening is that the plus and the minus here, okay, the positive and the negative, are creating a negative in the middle. They're creating a gravitational energy in the middle here, okay? So this is a negative polarity here. And you can see that the general direction of flow is directly to the center. All right, let's see if I can change colors. Okay. It's to the center here, right? And they converge. So now you've got 2 negatives, okay, that are converging in the center. But you have to have the equal, okay, in order to have the opposite, right? So you've got the out coming out this direction. Okay. And then with these in the center, on the opposite side, you're going to see that it creates the yin and the yang. And this creates the vortex energy in the center, right here, because your direction of flow okay. And so now it looks like eyes. But this is the energy that is being created, okay? And because the two positives here, right? These two positives are interacting here in the center. And that creates the Trinity, as you call it. Okay, you have the one, the two, and then the third is the all-seeing eye, or the Vesica Pisces, or whatever. Well, in order to have creation, or the creation of matter or physical form, okay, and life, sentient life, you have to have all four of these together, and they create our planet, okay, with these table of elements. But you're going to see that these are just field interactions, okay? And these elements and each one of these circles are spinning constantly, all right, all the time. And as they come through here, it's like playing a record, okay? And it reads it in one spot and it plays it back in the other spot, all right? And it comes out and it's expressed from the center outwards, and you see what, you know, the plants and the trees and everything, the surface of our planet, okay? You see all of that stuff because that's what it's creating. And it's the different levels of energy that create volcanoes. And it's the, you know, you've got more field interactions in a volcano that's making it more active, okay? That it's melting the rock. There's so many field interactions there, okay? And that's what we're working with. Now, when you begin to understand that we have these extra elements, okay? We have the matter, we have dark matter, right? We have dark light and light. Those are the four different kinds of elements that we are creating or need, okay? We need to have these in order to have 0-point energy. You need to understand that they exist, okay? And I don't care about anybody else's scientific perception on this, okay? This is just my understanding, and I don't want to argue about it. I'm just here to show you, okay? Now, I don't own any of the pictures that are put on here except for my drawings, okay, or the pictures that come from my iPad. This particular one came from Google Images, okay, and I'm using it as a demonstration to show you the way it's depicted in mainstream science, okay, and I'll explain it to you guys. A lot of you don't understand what the periodic table of elements is, so we're going to kind of do a brief explanation, and I'm going to use it in the terms of light. All right. Now, what you're seeing here is what it would look like if you were to peer at the periodic table of elements. Just take a look at it. Okay. In the top left corner here, okay, it's usually found in the center, but in the top left corner of this picture, okay, you have the atomic number. Okay. This is the only number that you need to be concerned with, okay? There are two positions that I've seen them in so far, okay? But the atomic number is the only number that you need to be interested in when you're talking and working with these devices in infinity. Okay, if you try to put matter into this, right, and use matter, then it's not going to work. You're only going to get half the results. Okay, so you just pay attention to it. You can use the table of elements, you know, for all of your needs, okay? But when you're just working with infinity, you don't have to worry about the mass, okay? You don't have to worry about how many protons and neutrons and electrons there are in these elements. You don't have to worry about it, because when you use the atomic number for the light elements, okay, it's already taken care of automatically. Infinity does it automatically in the universe, okay? And so, you know, that's one or a billion things less that you have to worry about, okay? So, and what you're seeing here is you'll see a hydrogen atom, okay, with one electron that's passing around it, okay, that's in orbit around this this hydrogen atom. This is what makes it, okay? Well, we're going to expand this a little bit further, okay? And picture that last tile, okay, for the elements that are right here at the very top, okay? Let's say matter, the new proposed table of elements for each universal element of matter, dark matter, light, and dark light, the Infinity Project, Mike Nash of 2016, okay? And what I've done here is I've identified these by polarity. I've separated them for you, okay? And when we do this, you'll understand why, okay? If you need to use any of the information for matter, because those are the things that we know, okay? You can copy the effects of what, you know, like neodymium does, okay? You can copy the effects of gold. You can do all of that without actually having physical gold, okay, or neodymium, or lithium, or helium, okay, or helium-3 for that matter, all right? But what you're going to see here, okay, is you're going to see that I've written down let's see if I can get them all on the screen. There we go. Okay. I just want to point out that matter, again, is positive, okay? All right, it's positive polarity, okay? Dark matter is negative polarity. Light, or plasma, as we call it, is positive polarity. And dark light is negative polarity, okay? Hence the pink and the blue, all right? That means all of matter is a positive polarity. Even aluminum, even though aluminum has can be classified as a negative polarity metal, okay, because it gives away its electrons freely, it's still classified as a whole as a positive polarity, okay? And that's why we use a lot of the attributes of aluminum foil, because we want to exploit its matter version, okay, of it being able to give away its electrons on a much freer basis. And that allows us to draw the energy that we need to power our devices, okay? So yeah, the, you know, aluminum foil or tin foil hats is kind of funny, because, you know, it could possibly be true. And that's maybe why we were ridiculed for thinking that it wasn't. You know, stop and think about it, all right? Now, as you can tell, all of the pink ones, okay, have a negative integer after their numbers, okay, on all of them. It's just the opposite. They do the complete opposite, okay? So if it's got to go forward 4 for helium in matter, that means it's got to go backwards in 4, okay, the opposite direction in 4, if you got to think of it that way, okay? So just remember, everything has to have an opposite in our universe right now, okay? And I'll get later into what you're seeing here is the neutrinos, okay, because there's actually 5 of them. And we will show you how the neutrinos, okay, it takes 2 neutrinos. We're going to go to the light version here, okay. It takes, oh my gosh. All right, as you can see, this is the table of light, okay. Make it a little smaller. Okay. This is the table of light here. And everything starts with 1, right? Well, you're starting with a neutrino when you start with light. Okay, you're starting with a gans or a neutrino. Okay, I call them neutrinos. And the neutrino is 1 when it comes to light. Okay, so that takes that very first slot. And then the elements are just stacked neutrinos. Okay, so if you think about it, you've got 1 neutrino here, okay, that starts over here. That's 1 neutrino, right? And then in order to get hydrogen, you have to have 2, right? So that's where the atomic number of +2 comes in, right? It's also the field interaction number, right? So every time that you are to bend a copper wire over, okay, on itself, right? Like for instance, the quad core, you are creating 4 field interactions. 1, 2, 3, and 4, right? Well, that creates the energy of lithium, which is over here, right? That's 4 field interactions. So that means that there are a total of 3 field interactions, 2, and then the third one, okay, that are trapped here. So you've got hydrogen and helium that are trapped between the neutrino and the lithium because you had 4 field interactions. We're just talking about energy fields here. We're not talking about atoms, okay? So if you're to look at a sphere and see the inside of it, you would see that there are 4 circles, okay, concentric circles, inside of each other that are pushing outwards, okay? They're trying to get out. And that's what I mean by the strength, okay, the number of field interactions of lithium, all right? Now, when you start adding more elements to it, like, you know, or more field interactions like 6, 7, 8, 9, okay, or 12 or 13, when you start doing that, they correlate to the elements on the periodic table of elements, the strengths. If you need to know the numbers, you can go to your regular table of elements, okay, the matter version, and just remember that if you want to know what the light version is, just add 1 to it, okay? So if you've got 12 field interactions, 1 plus 2 in numerology equals 3, okay? And Nikola Tesla, if you could understand what the importance of 3, 6, and 9 were, okay, then you would completely understand what we're doing here. And so we're trying to further that knowledge and understanding, okay? So when you have 12, okay, whatever element that is, right, you will get the divine or the light version of it is +1, so it would be 13. Okay, so 13 is the divine 12. Or in our cases for oxygen, oxygen is 8. Okay, in the matter version, right? If you look it up, well, the divine version of oxygen, meaning the light version of it, is 9. Okay, so 9 is the divine 8 if you want to just utilize it. Okay, and what we're trying to do here is simplify so that you can understand that for every piece of matter that you pick up, all of these other elements are already present. They had to be there in order for it to be created in matter version. Okay, all of these different versions here. Okay, all of these different versions all have to be present in order for matter to exist, in order for creation to be there. And they purposely left out these other 3 elements, okay, so that you would fight over and have an incomplete toolbox. Okay, well, all of your answers are, or all of the questions are created here, and you can find answers utilizing these solutions. Okay, and you're going to see up close versions. Okay, and it says down here at the bottom, a neutrino is the fundamental element of all creation. Okay, it's a fundamental shape of the structure of light. A neutrino is created when two principal fields come together. There are 4 different polarity neutrinos that we can create and work with in the table of elements for matter and dark matter, and the atomic number is 0. For light and dark light, the atomic number is 1. Okay. Interpretations. The color represents a lot in my work. Here are some of my explanations as to what the colors mean in my drawings and why they are being used. Okay. Polarity. I usually use a black line. Okay. Black line is the same as a red polarity, okay, or a negative polarity. So if you see a black line, think of a black nano-coated piece of copper wire. All right. Black lines are usually used to identify nano-coated copper wire or plates. It is also identified as having a negative polarity, nano to negative. Remember that statement, guys. Nano to negative, okay? Because when you're hooking your things up to the batteries, okay, you want your negative terminal to be connected to the nano-coated plate. Okay, because if you have it switched the other way around, then the nano coating, all right, is going to come off and move over to the other plate. Okay, because you've changed its conditions. So remember that, nano to negative, guys, when you're connecting your GANs, your devices up to make GANs with batteries and stuff. Okay, positive blue polarity, or positive polarity, is represented with blue. Okay, blue represents a magnetical energy field that is being created and is associated with a positive polarity. This means the energy will push out or away from the center. It has a counterclockwise rotation, and it causes light plasma to rotate in a counterclockwise direction. Red is a negative polarity, and it's represented by the red and the pink highlighter here. Red represents a gravitational energy field, and it takes 2 to create the blue. It is associated with a negative polarity. This means the one energy will pull towards or be absorbed by the nano-coated surface. It will cause light or plasma to rotate in a clockwise direction. Okay? So whenever you're seeing red or a blue line or a black line, all of these words represent what that color means. Okay, so if you can remember what those words are doing, okay, and it really just breaks down, is it moving to the right or to the left? Okay, you don't need to know all of these other words. Okay, I'm just breaking it down so that it's a little bit easier for people to see. You don't need this. Okay, you don't need to know all of this stuff here. Okay, you just need to know that this has a negative polarity. The black line has a negative polarity, and that means it's moving in a clockwise manner to the right. Okay, and the positive polarities are moving to the left, and I need to stack these so that they are opposing each other. Okay, I need to stack these different elements inside of each other. Okay, because when that happens, okay, you get the yin and the yang. Okay, and when you do this, you're creating life, you're creating a plasma, you're creating an intelligence. Okay, your intelligence, because it's your free will that you're creating this. Okay, and this is how the new table of elements will be changed in the near future, I believe. I've shown the first two elements, or four elements, of the four new table of elements. All the elements all stay the same and in the same order as the current table of elements. The numbers all stay the same as well, and polarity indicators have been put in place. Every element has an overall single polarity of either positive or negative, okay, plus or minus. And it's this system of identification that allows you to solve problems using the elements as different energy bubbles, okay? Keep that in mind, different energy bubbles. The system allows full access to the universal elements. Matter is the current table of elements that we use, and dark matter is its polar opposite, okay? Remember that. It's polar opposite. Right? Because you have matter and it's a positive polarity, there has to be a negative version of matter. Okay? So if you have positive matter, you have to have a negative matter. That's their polar opposite. Okay? Because what's created between those energy fields is what you see today. Okay? And in order for it to be illuminated, it has to have light. Okay? And it has to be able to reflect light. So you have your light and your dark light. They all come together in the center. This is what they created. Right? Earth, these elements, they're all here, guys. And we're sharing it with you guys so in hopes that you'll have a clear understanding. Okay. Now, here's a condensed version of the table of elements. All right. And we'll zoom in on it here. All right. This is for a square version if you guys, want to see it. But you can tell that the four corners will be used. Okay. You can put the atomic mass down where it needs to be. This corner here is for matter. Okay, this one over here is for light. Okay, this is the opposite, right, is for dark matter. Okay. Excuse me. Right, and the opposite for light is dark light. So you're going to see that all four of the elements are here and present in order to create this hydrogen in the center. Okay? And that's what's needed to create hydrogen. If you were to put, helium in the center, okay, or oxygen in the center here as the element, okay? Let's do this. All right. Let's change the element here to oxygen. All right. Oxygen on the table of elements is 8. Okay. So if it's 8, then we're going to put 8 here, right? And that means that on the opposite side, it's -8. All right. And for light, it's always +1, right? So we're going to go 8 plus 1. That would make it 9. Okay. And the dark light version would make it -9. And that is the energy fields that it takes for you to create oxygen. Okay. If you were to put a reactor, okay, let's say in the center of where the 8 is in matter, right? And it created an energy field, okay? So we're going to make an energy field out of it, right? Well, light does the same exact thing, all right? So we've got to make an energy field. Okay, you start to see similarities here, guys, of how these flower of life, right, look like the table of elements that I just showed you, okay? And you get these circles that are just energy fields, all right? And in the center, what is created is oxygen, okay? And this is how everything in the universe is created. And what I'm teaching you guys is how to take your copper wires, okay, and make them into a circle, right? Put 8 field interactions inside of it, all right? Line it up, make another circle with copper wire, and you learn how to put 9 field interactions inside of that, okay? And then you need to do the same exact thing here for dark light, okay, and dark matter. So you've just created them, and you need to make sure that you get your gravitational, which is the negative integers, and your magnetical, which is the positive integers, okay? Get those in the right position, okay? And you can create oxygen here in the center. This is how you create oxygen, okay? But remember, for when you create oxygen, and there you've got these 2 energy fields, there's still, you can look at it and it would balance itself out, okay? The 0 point energy is how it balances. 8 minus 8 is 0, 9 minus 9 is 0, okay? So you have 0 point energy. And you can do all of this with these copper wires and learning how to do the field interactions, okay? Remember, these are field interactions, okay? The atomic numbers are all the field interactions. And when you see me bending copper wires and I'm telling you the number of field interactions, you can follow along on what strength, what name, if you must have a name for it, do you want it to have. I'm giving it the strength of hydrogen, okay? So You don't have to give it a name or a title. It just really needs a number of field interactions. And you can always add one. So therefore it goes on for infinity. Here's a second version. Okay. Using circles instead of squares. Okay. Kind of gives you the same. All right. If you wanted to put your field interactions in here. Okay. And do the same thing to create hydrogen. Okay. It's all got to do the same thing here. Everything is made the same way, guys. So when you learn that everything is made the same way, you can create anything that you desire. And when a person has everything that they want or everything that they desire, then everybody is considered equal, because he's going to want to share that knowledge with somebody, because he's going to be tired of doing it for other people. Please do this for me. Please do this for me. When it's so simple. And the energy that's resulting is hydrogen out of the center of this one. Okay? So you start thinking in the structures, okay? The structures of the energy fields, you'll know that these guys are rotating this way, right? And these ones are rotating in the opposite directions, right? And they all crash together in the center. Okay? And that's what creates hydrogen. And you can recreate these energy fields just by messing with the field interactions, okay? The structure of light, the atomic numbers, okay? Atomic numbers. Okay, the atomic number is or are the number of field interactions for each element, okay, to create each element. For oxygen, it takes 9 field interactions of light in order to create the element of oxygen or contain it. All right. So that's what we're working with here, guys. I hope that helps with a little bit clear understanding of what we get to work with. All right. I'm going to stop my screen share here and want to talk to you a little bit about some of this stuff. Okay. Okay. My perception of all of this is that we need to be able to there we go. We need to be able to move forward in our knowledge. Okay. We need to have the tools in our toolbox. And we've been denied that toolbox for so long. So many people have died over the last century to keep this information from coming out. And I could be a target, but I'm not afraid. Okay, I know where I come from. Okay, I also know that I come, I feel very deep in my heart that this comes from divine source. Then I'm here to share that with you guys. I can only share my experiences and my interpretation. And for some of you, that'll make perfect sense. Okay. And when you learn to put these different layers of the elements together, okay, and you realize that there are 4 layers of energy that create the holographic universe that we see here, okay, that physical matter, it's all energy. All right. And so it's that energy that we're working with. And when you learn to manipulate that beginning part of that energy, you start tapping into your emotions. And that's where the spiritual side of this comes in. Okay. You have to have a spiritual side. If you don't, you're the same as the artificial intelligence that we're trying to defeat. Okay. We call it the dark, or the cabal. The cabal are still physical beings. Okay, just like we have a consciousness of light, there is a consciousness of dark as well, and that's what we refer to as the artificial intelligence. Well, it has assimilated the 3rd and the 4th dimensions, okay, or the 3rd and the 4th densities, and that's why our lives were so rough, and we had to have divine intervention. The path for humanity was not a good path, and we got our divine intervention. Some of us have awakened, and we've started the disclosure process, and we're under divine protection there, or galactic protection, depending on what your beliefs are. Okay. A lot of people have called me a master of energy, or a plasma shaman, I think, is what I've been called or titled. And to me, I'm just a cowboy. I'm an everyday person. I'm a man. I love beautiful women. It's just, and I've got a beautiful wife, and I take care of my family and all of that kind of stuff. And I've got a farm with lots of flowers and things that I do. And this is what I do for my hobby, is to teach you guys this stuff, because I'm bursting at the seams with all of this information, and I have a lot of the answers that humanity needs, but I don't have them all. That's why I need you guys, because I need you to be able to understand the way I see it, so that it can make your lives so much simpler. And, once a few of you, okay, can explain and understand this to yourselves, okay, and then you can explain it to one other person, you have to imagine that you're explaining it to 1 million other people. Okay. And if you can get that one person to understand it, then you're helping 1 million other people who have that same perspective as that person. Okay. So each person that you spend time with to explain this kind of stuff that you learn, even if you only learn a little bit, okay, the fact that you're asking the questions right now in our current time frame in our universe, okay, because you're asking those questions, you are able to receive the answers. Okay, the previous blockages that we had in place for our connection to the universe, they've been removed. Okay, and you're actually connecting to your true higher self now, whereas before you may not have been connecting to your true higher self. And that's all part of this whole evolutionary process and the divine intervention. Okay, we were completely cut off as a race, and it's time for us to shine our lights, okay, and learn the new energy systems that we're putting out using plasma technology or light energy technology. Okay, follow my teachings if you wish. You can still find out about it. This is not the traditional explanation for plasma. This is light energy. We're working with neutrinos. Okay, we're taking light as in lights with LEDs. Okay, and we're taking and converting it to and trapping it into these little shapes of these wire. And if you could take a picture of an electron as it was one single electron was firing, okay, the only way that we would be able to see it would be as to see it as one solid streak, right? Well, this is what that one solid streak would look like, because this is all one wire. And in order for the electron to travel from point A to point B, okay, it has to go all the way through all of this mess of wires that you've created in a very specific order, okay? It has to go and travel that whole distance before it can come out the end here, all right? And if there is another current applied, like let's say a heart rate, or let's say you turn this into something that you wanted to put in line with your hot wire plug, okay? You can do that. It will create an induction field that will charge your stuff, all right? That's what we're working with here with these different mini maggrav units and whatnot. So, you know, you can charge your cell phone or whatever, but you have to do this stuff for yourself first, okay? And when you figure it out for yourself, you can go take it to market, all right? You don't need a patent on this. This is nature. I'm not going to patent it. The other people out there that are releasing plasma tech, this is all open source. We want to share our knowledge, okay? So I want you to take some of these designs and work with them, okay? This isn't, you know, just it. You can continue this on in a circuit so that there's, you know, many of them in a row. You know, what kind of effect does that have? Those are the kinds of things that we're looking for here. We want you to be creative. We want you to be inspired, okay? Because the energy is here, and one of us is going to figure out how to light it up using just your mind, okay? And it's going to turn really bright. You're going to ionize some helium or some hydrogen, all right? And you're going to look like the little spacecraft that are flying around out there, those glowing orbs, all right? That's what we're dealing with here, is that kind of energy, you know? And then on another note, right now, a lot of you light workers that are out there, okay? And a light worker is a definition of anybody who's ever done anything kind, ever, okay? Not if you're doing anything kind now, but if you've ever done anything kind in your life, because that determines whether or not you're a light worker. And every child that I've ever met has always been kind. So that tells me that every person on this planet is a light worker. They just got mistreated along the way. They were trained to be this way. Life has been like a bunch of bumper cars, you know, little bumper energy fields, and things would be going along in your life, and all of a sudden you'd have a loss. You know, somebody would die, or you'd lose a pet, or you'd lose your job, and it'd be very drastic for you, okay? That just means that it was like a roadblock was put up in front of you. You're not allowed to go that direction anymore. You need to move because you weren't paying attention to the signs in your life. You weren't listening to your soul. And so in order for you to maintain the life that we're all maintaining right now, okay, and raising up in our ascension process and evolving, okay, in this whole process, we are going to be learning new abilities, learning how to use our mind and our emotions to do things, okay? You're going to learn how to trap light inside of a copper wire and make it do what you want it to do. You're about to control light. And once you understand the interactions and how those interactions affect the surroundings, okay, or change the conditions around certain surroundings, then you learn how to manipulate the light energy. And all across the planet right now, people are, they're going through severe relationship changes, um, severe mood swings, emotional swings. They're crying for no apparent reason. They're suddenly sick. Maybe they're vomiting, no apparent reason. Got these this chest cold that they're blaming on the chemtrails and things like that. Okay, I've got a sinus infection. It's springtime here, so nothing's really out of the ordinary. Okay, but it's hitting us all at once, all across the planet. That's the out of the ordinary part. Okay, and it's these ascension symptoms that we are dealing with, and it's essentially like you're getting PTSD. Okay, and any veteran out there will be able to help you and to explain to you why or what you're feeling right now and what to associate with that emotion. Okay, and you might feel paranoid, or you might feel sad, you might feel angry. It doesn't matter. All of those emotions are coming to the surface right now because you have to deal with it. Okay, and we're all ascending together. There is no one being left behind. There is no division anymore. And as mankind moves into the law of one, and we understand how the law of one affects everything around us, okay? And it sounds a little far-fetched, but right now we're transitioning to that, okay? You're eventually going to stop wanting to eat meat. Your body is not going to need it anymore, so you'll stop eating it. If you do eat it, it'll make you sick, you know? And then you'll be nothing but vegan, all right? And that's how we liberate the animals, okay? We've just changed your diet, okay? We've changed your needs inside of your body so that you don't need meat anymore. And you'll derive all of your nutrients from the atmosphere, or you derive it from plants, okay? And then eventually you'll stop even eating plants because they are a sentient life form, okay? And we will stop eating those plants, and we will start absorbing our energy through these devices that we're making, okay? Like the little keychain reactor I made, okay? It's those kinds of devices that you're going to create that are going to feed you and your family. And you're not going to have to worry about going to the store. It's not that the world is going to end and they're just not going to, it's not going to be available. But imagine if a whole bunch of people stopped eating food all of a sudden, what's going to happen to that, the supply and the demand? That means there's going to be a whole bunch more food available in the grocery store because they're stocking up now, okay? That's going to drive the prices down, and that's going to help the population. So that doesn't mean that everybody has to do this in order for the world to be better, okay? But the more people don't eat food, okay, the less likely they're going to be to buy groceries. And that means that there's going to be more groceries in the stores, okay, and less harvesting and less tearing up of the land. So, you have the responsible farmers out there, and then you've got big corporations that are not so responsible, okay? You're still going to need farmers, but it's going to be broken down more so into smaller communities. And those farmers are going to take care of those communities. But you're not going to have to worry about it anymore. The light is here, guys. The prayers have been answered, I guess, and I'm here to share this knowledge. And I really, really hope to see you along for this journey, because as I move through my own personal ascension, okay, I'm recording it. I'm creating things, okay? I made an aluminum wire capacitor today. Instead of using copper wire on the inside, I used aluminum wire just to see, all right? We're creating things all the time and new things. And we need more people that are creative in their own ways to do this. There's so much testing that can be done using music and all the scientific stuff that we've got out there, trying to capture auras, okay? The energetic field around plants, okay? I can't remember the name of it right offhand. That would be a fantastic device to have to show you guys. So, you know, keep that in mind that we're here together. And if you don't want a bloody revolution because you got somebody like Trump sitting up there on Fox News and whatever else, running his mouth and talking shit, you know, dividing or trying to divide the country, okay? Well, we know that there are more people out there, okay, minus the people down here in Texas, you know, some of the people here in Texas, okay? They're big Trump supporters. You know, these elections are just for show. They already know that there is not going to be another president of the United States. Okay, the United States are going to change fundamentally from the way we've known them. So it won't be called the United States anymore, I don't think. You know, it might be for a little while, but we start opening up our borders and our world to intelligent extraterrestrial beings that are trying and have been trying to help us for centuries. Okay, and they're going to introduce us to some technologies that are going to be mind-boggling. You're not going to be able to see or understand them unless you understand how these light objects work. You know, they work on the pure energy of light where you're not consuming or taking anything from anybody. Okay, it's giving unconditionally, and it gives all the time. It's the ambient energy around us, and they're going to have technologies that are going to blow our minds. They're going to instantly heal our bodies. They're going to instantly heal our planet. Okay, cleanse the oceans. They're going to help us with all of the things that we need to do, but we need more people like you that want to try this stuff out first. Okay, and that's why we're here. So much love, guys. I wish you the best of luck. You know, if there are some earthquakes and some tremors going around, just know that the catastrophic events of the biblical proportions are not going to happen. Okay, it might seem like a 7.0 is very large for some areas, or even a 10. Okay, that's still tiny compared to the biblical proportions that were explained. But the big ones are not coming. Okay, these little ones are Mother Earth. She's got to crack open her belly. Okay, she's got to release some of this tension, and she's got to have some place for the water to go in order to save the surface population. And so she has agreed to crack open her crust, and she's going to fill all of those tunnels where all of those rich bastards decided they were going to go hide. Okay, and she's going to cleanse her belly of all those parasites. Okay, and the planet will heal remarkably fast. And it's beautiful, and you'll see it. Okay, once again, my crown chakra is on fire. Okay, I used to think it was the headphones, but the headphones are just plastic. And you know, it's going to be fun times, guys. I need you to be happy about these things, you know, that we're creating here. They're fun. I love sitting in here creating something, and when I can, I want to share it with you guys. So, you know, once again, if you find this information, you know, useful, helpful, I've taught you something, you know, toss me a few bucks, okay? So I can help keep upgrading what I'm doing here, all right? This is all costing me on a monthly basis now on my own, and I don't have any residual benefits coming in or anything like that. It's just off the pure generosity of other people, okay? Of people like you that want to know the truth, okay? And I can explain it in so many different ways and so many different versions for you to try and help you understand, okay? But you can make a donation, okay, online at PayPal for me at mjnguardian@gmail.com. All right, that's mjnguardian@gmail.com. Okay. You know, I currently don't accept any mail packages to my home for safety reasons, you know, and it keeps people from feeling obligated to send me something. Okay. please understand that if you make a donation, it's not an expectation that I'm going to personally make you something, okay? It's not that I don't want to. It's that there are so many requests out there right now that I am having an issue of keeping up with myself. That, you know, I can't tell some people yes and other people's no, because I'm not the person that's going to make that kind of judgment. And I don't care how much money you donate. I'll be the same person whether you donate money or not. It just makes things go faster here if I have money. And you guys can decide how fast you want me to go, okay? And you can decide some of the experiments that you need me to conduct, okay? And combine your money to help me get the one setup of supplies here so that we can do the results and you guys can be part of those findings. And, you know, I need your help. I need your input. I need tech people. I need, you know, social media people. I need video people. I need, you know, graphics people, all sorts of things to help me try and make these visualizations so it can be as clear as possible for you guys. And, you know, I have faith that we've done it, you know, and this is just the beginning part. And life is so much better when you understand and know how the universe operates. And it's very empowering. And when a person has everything that they need, they're not corruptible. They don't need anything else because they can have everything that they want. And that's what I want to teach you guys this. So much love. You keep up the good work. I love y'all. And we'll meet on the battlefront. Okay, the battlefront of love. Peace, guys.